Welcome back to the MMA War Room. We're closing out the year with somewhat of a bang, and it's in the Apex, believe it or not.
Somewhat.
Yeah, I'll say somewhat. But hi, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great day, night, whenever you're watching this. I'm joined alongside my boy, Shrikar Rajendran. I'm Chris Schroyer. And yeah, the ending card for the year is headlined by Brandon Royval and Manel Kape. I think the main event is set to bring some fireworks. But as we look down the card at the prelims and the rest of the main card, Shrikar, what do you think about this? Do you think it's a good way to leave off the year, and especially the UFC going into a 6-week hiatus preparing to move to Paramount?
Yeah, I think it's a fun slate of matchups to close out the year. Final UFC fight card of 2025 and the last ESPN Plus era fight night before we move into the Paramount era. One more for ESPN, then it's a new chapter. As you mentioned, Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. I think that is a 10 out of 10 main event for an Apex card. Vallejos has a breakout co-main spot against Giga Chikadze. We have Cesario Nzechukwu. He could announce himself as a real middleweight problem. Yaroslav Amosov finally debuting in the UFC. And also just a bunch of fun prospect and, just fun heavyweight fights on here, just sprinkled throughout. So I think is a really good card to close out the year.
Yeah, no, I think I very much agree with you on that. It's not over the top stacked. There's been a lot of pretty loaded events recently. We're coming off of UFC 323 last Saturday, which was absolutely amazing. One of the best ways that the UFC could end the pay-per-view era, if that's the way it's going to end. We're still a little, in the dark about that, but I would consider it to be pretty much over. But I think the UFC is going to have a nice little, runway into their annual break. And we're going to start off next year with a bang, no doubt, with UFC 324. But let's get right into it. Let's see the first fight of the night. It's going to be Tereza Bledá. Is that how you say it? Yeah, Tereza Bledá. Sorry. The Czech names always get me. Versus Jamie-Lyn Horth. As I said, Bledá is a very young prospect, only 24 from the Czech Republic. She has not fought in a while, though. Her last fight coming in 2023. Jamie-Lyn Horth is the veteran in this. She's 35 years old. She picked up a win this year. So, Shrikar, I'm going to go to you first. Do you have the vet pulling out some tricks to pick up the win? Or do you have Bledá to make a statement in a big way in her 2-year return?
I'm picking Tereza Bledá to get it done. I can already hear the fans. Oh, she hasn't fought in forever. She's 24. For some fighters, time off is actually good. She's had time to heal, grow into her frame, keep improving. If you're wondering where she's been, she had a nasty staph infection in her finger that needed surgery, and it was antibiotic resistant. Then staph came back around her knee. It's taken over 2 years to get back, but she finally returns this Saturday. I still really like her game. Look at her UFC resume. Lost to Natalia Silva, who is now a legit top contender, and a win over Gabriela Fernandez, who is now a top 15 level fighter. Those wins have aged really well, or wins and appearances, I should say, have aged really well. She was fighting those women when they were still coming up, and she was right there with them. At 24, I think Bledá has legit upside at flyweight. Her style, strong grappling, heavy top game, uses her striking mostly to force the clinch and get takedowns, solid BJJ, live submission threat. She almost had Silva in that triangle armbar back in the day, and she controlled Fernandez for 3 rounds. There was real hype on her after Contender Series, and now we finally get to see version 2.0. On the other side, Jamie-Lyn Horth is solid and well-rounded. Southpaw with pressure and decent volume, good low kicks, pretty big and strong for the division. But physically, Bledá is still the bigger woman here, and I think she's the better offensive grappler. I see her ending up in dominant positions more often than not. We've got an 11-year age gap between them. Bledá's 24 and Horth is 35. I like the younger, bigger grappler with more upside. Horth feels like a good, tough prelim fighter. Bledá feels like someone who can be more than that if she keeps developing. The only real concern is the layoff in the gas tank, but Horth doesn't have crazy one-shot power, and Bledá is strong in the clinch and on top. That physical strength and grappling exchanges is a big edge at 125. Odds-wise, Bledá is a slight favorite around -190 with Horth around +140. Bledá actually opened as a huge favorite. I believe she was minus 400, and a ton of money came in on Horth because of the layoff. I get it, but stylistically, I still like Bledá. I think this fight most likely goes to decision, probably Bledá by decision, but a submission wouldn't shock me if she gets to dominant positions often enough. So I'm going to go with Bledá by decision, but sub is definitely live. If we go to the Tapology community, they're all on Bledá by decision, 96.5% going with her. So I'm going to have to agree. Bledá by decision is going to be the pick.
Yeah, I really like that analysis, and I've been using a little bit of a tool, and I believe it's pretty accurate. Sometimes I like to look at statistics in terms of age difference and win percentage regarding the specific gap between the two fighters. And I just plugged in 11 years difference into this little database, and according to it, and it's pretty up to date. So even to last week, it has fights in this database. It says the younger fighter with an 11-year age gap, wins 72% of the time. That's a lot. That is not, some fluke wins. That is a pretty good sample size. And let's see what it's out of. It's out of about 415 fights. So that's not some small sample size there. Yeah. Coming into it, I really want to take Jamie-Lyn Horth because I think that, the experience definitely will play a factor into this. And like you said, Shrikar, everyone's saying, oh, she hasn't fought in 2 years. That's Bledá. And I think that is going to matter, but I think she is a good prospect. And that one loss to Natalia Silva, we've seen what Natalia Silva can do. She is a contender. She honestly might be taking a shot at gold very soon, depending on how she does in her next fight. And her next fight might even be for the gold. So I think that's a good loss to have on your resume. And yeah, I like what Bledá does in the octagon. She's, a long range striker. She's good jab, very dangerous guard. And that could, kind of lure in someone like Horth, who is a wrestler. She likes clinch work. She likes to take it down, and her takedowns aren't amazing. They're a little sneaky, few trips in there. So I think that even if Bledá winds up on her back, I won't be too concerned with her. I think that she's able to fight through it and get in a position that she can really work towards something. And I think she just needs to really avoid the ground and pound that Horth has, and also just manage the pressure, because Horth's going to keep walking forward. She's not going to be deterred. So I think that Bledá really needs to throw things that is going to make Horth respect her striking game, and that she won't just have an easy entry every time. So yeah, I'm going to take Bledá by decision. I think that's probably the best bet. She's going to bounce back in a big way, and she's going to notch her second career UFC win. She did get her last win in 2023 over Gabriela Fernandez. So yeah, I think that Silva loss, even though a while ago, I'm still pretty impressed by it, even though I believe Silva finished her.
And for what it's worth, for the people that are concerned about the whole layoff thing, I believe we had another women's prospect but another women's fighter in Mizuki, who fought,
in a way, yep,
yeah,
she beat Amorim
too, and she beat Jacqueline Amorim. She was a huge dog, and she came in and looked like an absolute savage. So it is very much possible that the layoff isn't really too much of a concern. And obviously, Tereza Bledá, I'm very high on her. I think she's really good. So I think I'd be pretty confident in the layoff not being too big of a factor when stylistically the matchup is that good.
No, definitely. I very much agree. And in a way, in that fight was, I believe, sitting around like plus 300, and she fought like a minus 400. So, sometimes it's give and take. So we really just have to see how the fight plays out. But the next fight, I think, should be a very solid one. We have Alan Frye taking on Guilherme Pat. Both are undefeated. Alan Frye 6-0, Guilherme Pat 5-0. They're both under 31, I believe. Let's see. I believe it's right on the screen, and I'm trying to go back. I was looking at Tapology. Yeah, 27 for Frye. I believe Pat, his age isn't there. I think he's 31. I will double check that. But yeah, this should be very solid. This is a interesting clash of styles, in my opinion. You have Frye, who really likes to throw power punches, solid leg kicks, and just very aggressive style of wrestling. He's surprisingly agile given his size, even though he kind of just looks like a big brute, has a lot of raw power. And then on the other side, you have Guilherme Pat, who's more of a, finesse striker, great footwork, long range kicks. He's elusive and he has good movement. He uses his reach and speed to his advantage, which I really like. And these are going to be some big boys. Can you scroll down, Tricard, just so we can see the height and weight? Yeah, so Frye is 6'4" and 6'5" for Guilherme Pat. So we've seen some of these big strikers, especially like remember the Yusri Belgarui fight? Him taking down who did he knock out? I forgot. Yes, exactly. He knocked out Bakoev, who was also a kind of a brute force wrestler, someone who has a lot of power. I think we're going to see Pat do a little bit of the same thing here. I'm very impressed with what I've seen from his striking, just very fluid. And I think that Frye, although he does have solid striking, like I said, he kind of relies on his power rather than just technique. There's no really structure to what he throws. It's kind of just, I'm going to throw something and hopefully you're there to catch it on the other end. But I think that unless Frye really just makes this a dirty fight, almost just like a street fight of I'm going to wear on you, grind you down against the fence, and hopefully, just use that to his advantage. I think that we're going to see Pat really just beat around the bush, but in a good way. He's going to pepper him with strikes, and ultimately, I think we're going to see a knockout here. I'm going to go with the first round knockout. I think Guilherme Pat has all the tools to do it, and if Frye doesn't take a calculated approach in this, I think he's going to get caught on an entry. So give me Guilherme Pat by first round KO.
So actually, we have Sam in our chat right now, who's actually, he couldn't be on the recording, obviously, but he's in our chat giving us the picks as we go through them. So we can actually edit in his picks as he.
Oh, yeah. All right. Bet.
So for the last fight, he's going Bledá by decision.
All right. Clean sweep.
In my opinion, nothing to say there, but we'll edit it into the video so you guys have it as well. And also go to our socials. Final picks are going to be there as well. So you can see Sam's picks there. But if he's in the chat with us and he keeps going with it, we'll edit it into the video. About this fight, this is basically a contender series heavyweight fight in a UFC card.
Yep.
They're clearly hunting for the next big heavyweight prospect. I'm going with Guilherme Pat as well. He's that tall, long, karate-style heavyweight, light on his feet, fast straight shots, dangerous high kicks. Easy comparison stylistically. I see him as like, he kind of moves like Cyril Gane. Like, I'm not saying he is Cyril Gane, but I think that's his archetype. Alan AJ Frye, though. No joke. Big dude, pressure boxer, heavy hands, comes forward, throws with bad intentions, can stuff a few takedowns and bite down on the mouthpiece. But let's be real. Neither guy has fought high-level competition yet.
Yep.
People point to Frye beating, for example, a Justin Frazier. But Frazier was on Ultimate Fighter ages ago. He came back this year after a long layoff. Good win, but not some gold standard, Pat, on the other hand, looks like the more naturally gifted striker. Tall, long karate stance, straight shots, fast kicks. He moves like a lighter weight class, as I mentioned before. I get why everyone is all over Frye by knockout. Debuting heavyweights, big power. Someone's probably going to sleep. I mean, let's see what the community is thinking. Yeah, community is very heavy on Frye by knockout, right?
Interesting.
But I don't know. To me, Pat has the cleaner technique and the straighter, faster punches, while Frye throws more looping bombs and leaves his head on the center line. And the line movement tells you how wild this matchup is. Pat opened as a plus 210 underdog. And now if you look, I mean, on Tapology, it says he's a minus 190 favorite. I think he's
minus 180 on DraftKings.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot of line movement. Frye went from the favorite to the underdog. That should tell you, do not throw heavy money on this fight. Debuting heavyweights with unproven resumes are just a recipe for disaster from a betting standpoint. I also do think this fight ends in a knockout, Chris. I think under 2.5 is going to be heavily juiced.
Yep.
I think fight to end by knockout is going to be juiced. I think Pat by knockout is going to be the favored prop for me. Frye by knockout is right there too. I mean, the bookies pretty much have it pretty much set. Someone's going down. I'll say Pat clips Frye, uses the straighter, faster shots, gets a knockout early, but understand this is a high variance heavyweight banger. So I'm going to go Guilherme Pat, but I would lean towards fight ending by knockout. Do not overbet this one. Don't put too much money on it. Sam is going Pat by knockout, but man, I don't know. Fair enough. I think that's the general sentiment among us too as well. But again, debuting heavyweights, this is not the fight you want to bet on. But this could be a fight you want to bet on. I know women's MMA is not typically something before, but Luana Santos and Melissa Scare Corden.
Yep. Yeah, no, definitely. And you just mentioned the props from before. Pat by knockout is -160, so only a 20-point difference, or not by decision. Excuse me. No, that is by knockout or decision. There are no straight. Actually, there are straight methods. It's -110 for Pat to win by knockout, plus 200 for Frye. Knockout from either of them, -450. Let's see fight to go the distance, because this isn't going the distance. Under 1.5 is -188. So it looks like Vegas isn't even expecting this to make it 2 full rounds. But no, I think that's a very solid choice, and we'll see how that plays out for some debutantes in the UFC. But ladies, who are not debutantes in the UFC. We have Melissa Scare Corden taking on Luana Santos. I think this should be a very interesting and solid matchup. We just saw Melissa Corden a few months ago, actually, and she put up a very solid performance against, I forgot, it was another Canadian girl. No, it wasn't Canadian. She was Tainara Lisboa. Yeah. There was another Canadian girl on the card. But
Santos has also fought. They both fought Lisboa in their last fight.
That's actually hilarious. That's that's something in common. And let's see. Lisboa lost to Santos in the second round, and she lost to Corden in the third round. So, MMA math right here. By that notion, that means Santos is going to win. No, I'm not really sure. I would really like to hear what you have to say about this, Shrikar. Who do you think has the more momentum in this fight?
I'm going with Melissa Corden. I really like her striking, man. Muay Thai base, clean, straight shots, real power for women's bantamweight, strong physically, bigger frame. She should have a size edge at 135. Santos used to fight at 125, moved back up after losing to Casey O'Neill. Corden is a natural bantamweight, 5'9" versus 5'6", right? Am I right there? Yep, 5'9" versus 5'6". And she carries that size well. Now, Santos's game is pretty clear, right? Takedowns, top control, submissions. Her striking is improving, but it's still built to support her grappling. I think Croden's physicality and size are going to make those takedowns a lot harder to hit consistently. In a pure kickboxing match, I really favor Corden. She's got the better hands, a mean streak. She really has that mean streak. I can see her busting up Santos's nose and landing cleaner shots over 3 rounds. The age gap is there, right? Corden is 34, Santos is 25. So we're seeing another instance of this age gap, which if you want to put that in the database, Chris, you can. But this is one of those cases where the older, bigger, more polished striker matches up well with the younger grappler. Odds, Santos around -190, Corden around +140. I don't mind the dog money on Corden at all. She's got real finishing ability too. Santos definitely has upside to grab the sub, but Corden actually knocks people out. You don't see that a ton in women's MMA. I think Corden stuffs enough takedowns, wins the striking exchanges, possibly hurts Santos and makes her wilt a bit. I'm going Melissa Corden. I really like Corden money line, just straight bet. I think the finishing upside is there if you want to get even a little bit more risky and bet Corden by finish. I think that's also very live, but give me the dog in this one. Give me Melissa Scare Corden.
Yeah, no. So I just put it in the database. 9 years. UFC fighters. Actually, this is just all of MMA. So it's kind of more of a broad estimate. The younger fighter by 9 years difference wins 70% of the time. And that is over the course of around 900 fights. I'm not sure how far it goes back, but it's a little guideline to look out for. But as we were in the fantasy playoffs, I think Shrikar would be happy to know that Kyle Pitts has just secured his second touchdown of the game.
You're kidding, bro.
Nope.
You're kidding.
It was a nice little wheel route to the pylon. He was wide open, and Kirk Cousins dropped it right in the breadbasket.
That's a dub.
Yes, sir. As you guys could tell, we are recording during Thursday Night Football. Hopefully Shrikar gets his win in the fantasy playoffs. Luckily enough, my 2 leagues, I have secured buys. So this is a sweat-free week for Chris. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be an interesting fight. I think we saw a lot of good things from Melissa Corden in the last fight. And like you said, Trikar, very big. She's a rangy fighter, and she does have power. She can shut some lights out, which is not too common in women's MMA, which I think needs to really be taken into account. However, Sam has said in the chat that he's going with Luana Santos by submission. I think I'm going to take Luana Santos by decision. I think that Croden's going to pose some threat on the feet and especially in the striking game. But one thing I've noticed is she has struggled, even though she only has 2 losses, she has struggled in the clinch against grapplers who, are stronger and better in that form, like facet of MMA, which I believe is Luana Santos. I think she does her best work in the clinch. Very good judo. She has a heavy top game as well. And she just mixes it up really well in the clinch. And the one thing I do have concern for is that on her entries to the clinch and just trying to take the fight where she wants to take it, Luana Santos is susceptible to getting hit. She is hittable. So I think that she really needs to get the head movement down for this and stay out of this, the power striking range of Melissa Corden. Sometimes it's better to eat the short shots than the shots that really have torque and, just momentum on them. But I think that there's a path to victory for both of these women, in my opinion. I think if Croden's able to stop the takedowns and really get out of clinch situations, I think she really has a good chance to win. But I feel like that's probably less likely than Luana Santos getting on the inside to where she wants this to be. So I'm going to go Luana Santos by decision. I feel like that's my best bet. Let's see what the odds of this fight to go over in round props is. I'm assuming it's 2.5.
We also see what the community's picking. So community is heavy on Santos by decision.
Okay. Yeah. 2.5 is minus 260. So a lot of people are seeing this fight go to decision, especially the odds makers in Vegas. And Luana Santos right now is only sitting at minus 130. So this fight has a big opportunity to flip by the time these girls walk out to the octagon. Luana Santos to win by decision is plus 130. So not too much of a
first lone wolf of the night, baby.
Yeah, first lone wolf of the night. We'll give it to Shrikar. We don't have the soundboard, but he can howl if he wants to. He probably won't.
Nah, I'm in a hotel room.
Yeah. you're the person in the room next to you is gonna be like, do they have a wolf in there? Good old jokes. But yeah, the next fight of the night, this should end violently. We have Steven Asplund, excuse me, Concrete. We saw him with a great win on Contender Series. This man loves to throw. Taking on Sean the Smoke Sharaf. Sharaf. I'm gonna say Sharaf. Okay, I didn't want to disrespect him because he's a lot bigger than me. He can come looking for me. But yeah, these are some big boys, man. They like to throw, and they both got one-shot knockout power.
Sam was quick to it. He's saying Asplund by knockout.
Asplund by knockout. That's what I'm taking too, in my opinion. Even though I think, like, obviously Sharaf does have the opportunity to land the first shot and the bigger shot. He does have brute force wrestling, which I haven't really seen out of Asplund. I haven't seen him really wrestle. So if that's the route that he takes in this fight, I think he could have a lot of success, and he might be able to really wear on Asplund with some brutal ground and pound. But I think they're both very raw. I think that's something that we really need to keep in our brains, that these guys are both, there's 12 combined MMA pro fights between them. Excuse me. I was going to say UFC fights, but this is Asplund's debut. I believe Sharaf has fought in the UFC before. He beat, he lost to Junior Tafa. Oh, so that's why Sam is taking Asplund by knockout. Yeah. We all know how much love he has for the JTs. But yeah, I think Asplund, I'm going to roll with the hot hand here. I mean, I think he really just wants to go in there, make it dirty, throw some power punches. And from what we've seen, I don't think that I can really see anything else. I can see, like I said, Sharaf landing his own punches. Sam just said he's changing his pick to Asplund by demolition. So it's not by KO anymore. It is by straight and pure domination. But like I said, Sharaf mixes in the wrestling. He could have a path to victory. The cardio is definitely a concern for me. And even though we haven't really seen Steven Asplund get into deep waters like that, I would like to think that he's going to land the bigger punch in this one and put Sharaf out. So yeah, Asplund by KO. And I'm going to go with the under. I believe it's 1.5. Let's see what the line is for that. It is -175. So yeah, honestly, I think Asplund by first round KO, even just fight to end in round 1, I think would have some value to it. So yeah, I'll pitch it to you, Shrikar. I've been talking for a minute. I want to hear what you think.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. This one kind of feels like an old school heavyweight fight. You know, two big guys with like 5 pro fights each on a UFC card. I'm also going with Steven Asplund. All 3 of us are going to take him. He won a lot of fans on Contender Series. Big knockout over Anthony Guarashio. Huge weight loss story. Used to be obese.
Yeah.
His dad was a pro fighter who never made it to the UFC. It's kind of like the son is finishing the mission now.
Yeah.
I like his mentality and his style. Big, legit heavyweight. If we look at his size and weight, he is 6'5", 261.5. Like,
wow. That's a mammoth.
Yeah, that is a dude right there. Comes forward with bad intentions, good elbows, punches inside, doesn't quit on himself. Definitely a dog. Sean Sharaf has some things going for him. Obviously trains at Extreme Couture. That's a good gym. He's an ex-Marine. Obviously, we have a lot of respect for ex-Marines. We talked about an ex-Marine and Denzel Freeman on the Qatar podcast.
Yes, sir.
Decent boxing rhythm, head movement, power hooks, comes forward and swings, but his resume is weak. You look at his last win, it was LJ Torres, who was 3-1-1, a guy not in great shape, and even that was nothing special. On short notice against Junior Tafa, Sharaf had some moments, but completely gassed early in round 2 and got boxed up and stopped. Tafa's a hard hitter, but he's basically a light heavyweight in a heavyweight body. Asplund is a legit big boy, and I think he hits harder and can take a shot. Where Asplund is shaky is his grappling. You're kind of mentioning Sharaf leaning into the wrestling, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch his fight against Raiden Kovac. Okay, that's the fight that I watched before his Contender Series fight. He was almost finished in round 1 on the mat. But on the feet, he is relentless and has serious power. Sharaf could maybe surprise us with a takedown, and that, again, as I agree, Chris, that would be his smartest path because Asplund on the ground is a big work in progress. But if this stays striking, and I think it will, I favor Asplund's size and dog factor. Odds, Asplund around -250, Sharaf around +175. And you mentioned the under 1.5 was, what was it again?
It's like -170, -175.
Yeah, I think those are fair. This is probably a violent one. So I'll go Steven Asplund. I think a good bet could be Asplund by knockout. Under 1.5 is also very live if you want to bet that or put in a parlay. But yeah, I got to go with Steven Asplund. All 3 of us going to take Steven Concrete Asplund, but will all 3 of us be in the same boat on Mr. Neil Magny is the question.
Ooh, I'm not sure, but also just a little backtrack. Asplund in round 1 +140, fight to end in round 1 -110. So if you're looking for some better value, I would be okay with either of those, honestly. If you're not sure or sold on Asplund, I wouldn't be too mad about that. But yeah, Neil Magny, the Haitian sensation, he's been doing it for pretty much as long as we've been alive, honestly. This dude could be my dad. Like he's old enough to be my dad. And then we have anticipated Bellator champion Yaroslav Amosov coming over. And we've seen how Bellator fighters have fared in their UFC debut. So Shrikar, what do you think? And then a second question. Do you think this fight being in the apex rather than in an arena full of people could help with Amosov's debut, kind of negating maybe the lights might be too bright?
I don't think... I think it was a strategic decision by the UFC, and not that an Amosov doesn't want the pressure, but you think about what this could turn into for Amosov and the fact that this could end up as a boring decision,
Mm-hmm.
having it on an Apex prelims is like, okay, we're taking it out of the spotlight a bit, but also on the counter of that, putting a guy like Yaroslav Amosov, a big prospect, on the Apex prelims is like, okay, you should tune in, right? So this is a big fight. This is a big fight for sure. If you don't know Amosov, he was the Bellator welterweight champion, got to 27-0, and people were talking about him like the Bellator Habib at one point. He eventually took his first loss to Jason Jackson by knockout. But this dude is the real deal. He's 32, and this is the perfect UFC debut test. Neil Magny, the ultimate gatekeeper at 38 years old. All right. His game is definitely excellent wrestling, single legs, doubles, body lock trips, smothering top control, dangerous front headlock game. He hit an anaconda on, what was his face? Curtis Millender.
Yep.
Good cardio. He can go 5 rounds. Solid fundamental striking. Good jab, low kicks, mixes takedowns behind it. Look, I think Amosov passes the Magny test. I think he's going to win. Magny is on a mini surge. 2 wins in a row over Jake Matthews and Elizeu Zaleski. Both solid guys, but historically strong grapplers have given him a lot of issues, right? I believe it was Michael Chiesa who dominated him on the mat.
Yep.
Gilbert Burns subbed him.
Yep.
Shavkat Rakhmonov subbed him. RDA out-grappled him in the past. I believe one more person I'm thinking of dropped and absolutely mauled him. Was it Hamzat?
No, I don't believe he fought Hamzat. Even RDA. That was a while ago, but RDA
out-grappled him.
him. Damian Maia, amazing grappler.
Yeah, Damian Maia. Amosov is closer to that tier of grappler than the guys Magny's been beating lately. Magny's got his usual tools: long jab, good volume, clinch knees and elbows, great cardio, solid pressure. But I think Amosov is just levels ahead in the wrestling and grappling. I can absolutely see him getting takedowns and chaining them together, then hunting submissions when Magny tries to scramble up, especially those front headlock chokes. Amosov is around -335, Magny around +225. Over under 2.5. I think it's about even on both sides.
Let me see. I'm looking right
the last
now.
time I checked.
Where is this fight? It's hiding from me. Oh, isn't even. I don't even think it's listed on DraftKings.
Yeah, I checked on FightOdds.io for what it's worth, but
okay,
it was about even on both sides. I'll say Amosov not only wins, but wins by submission. I think he will submit Neil Magny. I think he makes a statement in his UFC debut and starts his run toward the rankings right away. I'm going to go Yaroslav Amosov, Dynamo, by submission. If we look at community picks, most people think Amosov by decision, which is very possible. There is a small contingent thinking he could win by sub. I guess my bold take will be he finishes Neil Magny.
Yes, and Sam is in agreement with you. Sam just said Amosov by sub.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Amosov by decision. I think that Neil Magny will scramble and be able to survive, and he's not a terrible grappler in his own right. I think the pace that Amosov is gonna put on him is gonna ultimately be what cracks him, and really just allows Amosov to just have complete domination over this fight. Magny does have the opportunity to do something hilarious and finish the year out 3-0, which actually he would be 3-0, right? No.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
This year, yeah, because he beat Elizeu. Prates was the end of last year.
Yes. Okay. So it would be 3-0. Hey, if a 38-year-old Neil Magny can finish the year out 3-0 and beat Jake Matthews, who I regard as a very solid prospect.
Controversial fight for what it's worth.
Very controversial fight. He was out. He was definitely out. But he still rallied and pile drove Jake Matthews into the octagon. Yeah, but if Neil Magny pulls this out, dude, I think anything's possible, man. Especially for him. I would have to start betting him against everyone because the value would just be too good for me to not. But I think this line is a good line. I think that, even given Neil Magny winning the last 2 fights as a pretty sizable underdog, I think the fact that he's this wide of a dog is speaking to the levels of Yaroslav Amosov's MMA talent. And look, the dude is 28-1. I know this is his first fight in the UFC, but 29 professional fights. And I don't even think he's in his prime yet. I think this is the fight that'll kick off Amosov's prime. And like you said, Shrikar, he's been dominating people like Khabib. Jason Jackson is almost like a gatekeeper as well. He's only 16-5 now, and he just lost to another prospect who I think is going to be very good in the PFL, Thad Gene. And then he lost to another good grappler in I forgot his name, but I'm not even going to attempt to say it because I'm going to butcher it so bad. I think that, some fighters need a loss. Like, he was 28-0. I really think that gives you a supreme level of confidence, but sometimes it gives you overconfidence. And that's not great coming into the UFC thinking you're going to destroy and smash everyone, because then you can run into someone like a Neil Magny who has all the veteran tools and tricks in the world, and he pulls something out and, shows you that there's levels to this. However, in this fight, I think that the youth and athleticism of Amosov is going to be too much. So give me him by decision. And sadly, Neil Magny is not going to be victorious in a clean sweep in the war room. Next fight is going to be Joanderson. Is that
Brito?
Tuberau? Is that how you say it? I'm not going to try and butcher his nickname anymore. He's taking on Isaac Thomson. Initially, it was supposed to be Melsik Bagdasaryan before Bagdasaryan pulled out due to, was it an illness? I think it was an illness. I will double check that. It actually might be on Tapology. So while Shrikar keeps that up, I will check it. But yeah, I was really looking forward to Bagdasaryan versus Brito. I thought that was going to be a good fight. Two guys who have heavy power. Brito better on the ground, but they're both just very aggressive, good, explosive fighters. I'll say that. So Brito coming in 5-3 in the UFC. He was pretty highly touted coming in, but he has won all 5 UFC wins by early stoppage. So he has a high finishing threat. Isaac Thomson is 23. Can you scroll down a little bit? He's young. Let's see. 23. So this is a very young prospect. He's 9-2. Actually a decent amount of fights under his belt for a 23-year-old, which is, kind of refreshing to see. But you have Brito, violent pressure striker, explosive. He has good submissions as well. So you really have to beware of that. And then on the other side, you have Thomson, who's a good kickboxer. He likes to switch his stances a lot, very fluid. Also has a good leg kicks, which I think could be very useful fighting someone like Brito, who likes to explode out of different stances and shoot takedowns as well. So you can chop at the legs. It'll take away power from that part of his game. He doesn't have too many finishes. I don't think he's not I wouldn't consider him a high finishing threat, but he's good at distance striking and he's very versatile in scrambles, has good movement. So yeah, I think just this fight being on short notice for me, it's kind of a turn off to take Isaac Thomson. I think that, this might be a solid fight for him to get his name out in the UFC. And I don't think this is just going to be a one and done. I think he's been on the UFC's radar, and this is just a really big test for him. Brito has lost his last 2. But I'm going to go with Brito by knockout. I think the power is going to be a little bit too much. And just because, the weight cut for Thomson, and like I said, it's very short notice, like a week. And someone like a killer like Joanderson, Brito, you might need a little more time to prepare for that. But props to Isaac Thomson for taking it. I think that he'll be able to show the UFC some things, and I don't think they're going to look too poorly down on his performance. And if he wins, all the better. This is more like a everything to gain, nothing to lose fight for Isaac Thomson. So what you think, Shrikar? And Sam says Brito by KO. You taking Isaac Thomson?
Yeah, I am. This is another spot where I'm leaning underdog. And I'll take the lone wolf here. Thank you very much. I know a lot of people automatically trust Brito, But let's be real. I mean, he's not that guy where you just slam him at big chalk and feel great. He's good. He's dangerous. But he's also super reliant on his grappling and pressure, and he's not bulletproof on the feet. Isaac Thomson is legit. Like, I actually think he's a legit guy. Clean boxing, good timing. By the way, Chris, he knocked out your boy, Le'Veon Douglas. Not in the last 5, but
Did
he
he?
did knock out Le'Veon Douglas, and he looked like a killer on Contender Series. Calm and chaos. Doesn't look like some deer in headlights regional guy. They opened him as a huge dog, and he's already been bet down for a reason. People are seeing what I'm seeing. I'm going to say Thomson by knockout.
Wait,
Or,
did he actually knock out Le'Veon Douglas?
yes, he did.
All right, I'm switching my pick.
You guys go and look
Give
it
me
up.
Isaac Thompson. Sorry, I'm giving Sam
Isaac
a lone wolf.
Thompson.
I lack of research on my part. I'm sorry. Yeah, I love Le'Veon Douglas, man. That guy's legit. You knock out Le'Veon Douglas, you knock it out Joe Anderson.
Thompson by knockout or a hard-fought decision where he stuffs enough takedowns and touches Brito up on the feet. If we look, no predictions have been made yet. All right, I guess community predictions are slacking, but as for my pick, give me the dog here. And I believe he is plus 180 now.
Yeah,
I checked.
yeah, he is.
Tapology doesn't have that listed, but Thomson by KO or decision. I think he's going to get it done. I really like Isaac Thomson, if you can't tell.
Yeah, I'm picking him purely on the fact he knocked out Le'Veon Douglas. Nothing else. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to know.
There you have it. And I guess Sam will stay with Brito, unless he decides to hop and chat again and switch it. But
yeah, Sam, do you want to switch with me? Because
nope,
he's sticking with Brito. Okay.
He's got the lone wolf here.
Sorry, I love Le'Veon Douglas. That guy is awesome. Can't believe he knocked out my boy.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, and Sam is giving us a little howl in the chat.
That was for Sam. I was speaking through Sam right there, or Sam was speaking through me right there. Dude can play sound effects from the back room. That's kind of crazy.
That was very scary, but hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Cool. Yeah. We got another good fight here. We got Gillian the Savage Robertson taking on Amandinha Lemos.
Amandinha. That's the most Brazilian nickname I've ever heard. You tell me there's nothing better than to go Amandinha?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I would love to pick Amandinha here because she is a big power puncher. She has shown that she can reach the pinnacle. She has reached the pinnacle. She's not claimed gold, but she was, I wouldn't even say somewhat close. Zhang Weili dominated her. But yeah, I think she's taking on a really big grappling threat in Gillian Robertson, and that has always been Amanda Lemos's weakness. And if we're going by trends, she has won one and lost one for the past 3 years. I think we're going to double up on losses. I think what she did to, or what happened to her against Tatiana Suarez at Noche this year. I'm not putting Gillian Robertson on the level of grappling of Tatiana Suarez, but Gillian Robertson's a pretty damn good grappler. So I'm going to go with Gillian Robertson by sub here. I think that she's going to be able to get it to the ground. She's going to have to walk through the fire, though, because Amandinha is not going to go lightly and quietly. She is going to throw punches, and she is a very hard hitter. So you got to be careful on entries. But I think Gillian Robertson should be able to eat a few shots. She's tough. And I think her footwork, and once she gets hands on you, it might be over. It's almost, I wouldn't say this, but I was talking to one of my friends at the gym today, and we were doing a little grappling, just like going back and forth, and he got double wrist control. And he said, you ever seen the video of Habib saying, when I get double wrist control, it's time for you to go home. I feel like that this is this fight. So yeah, give me Gillian Robertson by sub. I'm gonna say late though. I think Amanda Lemos is gonna be able to survive. Give me third round.
Really good fight here. I'm gonna go with Amanda Lemos on short notice.
Interesting.
Gillian Robertson's on a 4-fight win streak, and her grappling looks great, as you mentioned. Strong takedowns and top control, vicious ground and pound, dangerous from full mount, great submission setups. But stylistically, I actually think Lemos is a tougher matchup for her than Lucindo would have been. Lemos is very dangerous on the feet, hard to take down cleanly, strong physically, has good submission defense and counter choke threats. We've seen the ninja choke look from her too. Now, people will point to her being, subbed by Verna Jandiroba or controlled by Tatiana Suarez, but those are elite grapplers. Gillian is very good, but I'm not sure she's at that level. Go back to Lemos versus Suarez. Suarez struggled to consistently get her down, all right? Lemos stuffed a lot of attempts. She had success on the feet, took the third round. If Lemos can make Robertson work hard for every takedown, and I think she has a clear striking edge, I think she's going to get it done. Odds, Robertson around -175, Lemos around +130. I get why Gillian is favored. If she gets on top, she can dominate, but I think people are underrating Lemos's takedown defense and overall experience against higher-end competition. I'll say Lemos stuffs enough of those takedowns and wins the striking battle over 3 rounds. I will go with Amanda Lemos as a live dog. 22%. Only 22% are on Lemos, so this is a big dog pick. But the odds don't really reflect that. So I think that's kind of interesting. A lot of people are on Gillian, and I get it. Sam is going Lemos by decision. So as of right now, I mean, Sam is torn, but as of right now, Chris, you have the lone wolf here.
Sam,
Gillian.
play the sound.
Let's see if he plays it for you. Yeah, there you go.
He's listening. Love you, Sam.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, yeah, that the Tatiana Suarez fight, I think that is something to note. That's something that I didn't mention as well, that Lemos did really come on in that third round, and she gave Tatiana problems. But Gillian, even if she doesn't get this sub, if she can win the first 2 rounds, it's I don't know. Lemos she's weird. For me, at least, whenever I pick her, she loses. Whenever I don't pick her, she wins. So you know what?
Chris, this is the benefit of being on Tapology. May I feast your eyes to the streak?
No, I know. I mentioned that before. For the past 3 years, she's won 1 and lost 1.
So you did mention it. Okay.
I said I was fading the streak, which you know how much I love trends, bro. That's like one of my favorite things in the world. But yeah, so it's interesting. I'm gonna stick with my gut, and I'm just gonna go Gillian. And if any of the viewers are gonna learn from my mistakes, basically pick Amanda Lemos, because I can't get her right. There's just some fighters where you just can't pinpoint them. She's one of them, and I'm admitting it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I cannot get Amanda Lemos fights right unless it was Zhang Weili, and I was just like, Zhang, I will put my house on it. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. If I change my mind, but Bobby Green taking on another. This was a short notice fight, right? Yep. I'm not bugging. Who was he supposed to fight before? I was very bad.
He was looking for an opponent, and Lance Gibson stepped in.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, Lance Gibson Jr. stepping in to take on Bobby Green, a UFC debutant. He's 9-1, good prospect from Canada. Shrikar, take it away. Who you got?
So I was initially leaning. We're not calling him King Green, Bobby Green.
Yeah, he's Bobby. He will always be Bobby Green to me.
I was initially thinking Bobby Green on this fight. I'm officially flipping over to Lance Gibson. Bobby Green is fun. He's a vet. He's got that slick, hands down style. Just kind of walks forward. But man, he's been looking washed lately. Yeah, we're bringing out the W word.
Yep.
Bobby Green is washed. He's been knocked out a bunch, and at some point that catches up to you. Lance, on the other hand, is a lifelong martial artist. Started super young, wrestled, did BJJ, grew up in the game. One loss by knockout to Vladimir Tokov. He is a legit Russian savage who he trains with Fedor. So he's legit. He's solid everywhere. I remember him from Bellator, clean striking, good composure, good variety. This isn't some random short notice scrub. Same thing with Isaac Thomson. Lance Gibson is not a scrub. This is a guy who has been chasing the UFC dream for years and now finally gets his call. Short notice or not, I think he is super live here. Bobby's chin plus Bobby's style plus his recent form, I will take the hungry, fresh prospect in this one. So give me Lance Gibson to beat Bobby Green. I'm leaning decision, but I wouldn't be shocked by a late finish if Bobby completely falls apart. Again, no Tapology community picks for the short notice fights, but yeah, give me Lance Gibson as a dog in this one.
Sam just said Gibson by KO. Yeah, I'm all over Lance Gibson. I am completely sold on him facing a washed Bobby Green. Bobby Green is washed. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. I have no remorse or regret saying he's washed. I think that, yes, he beat Grant Dawson. We've seen how weak Grant Dawson's chin is now. Manuel Torres just exposed that. And I think that Grant Dawson in the future, he's going to have a lot of trouble with some of these fighters who are just going to look to piece him up. He lost to Paddy Pimblett and he beat Jim Miller. Technically, he should be 1-3 in his last 4. The Jim Miller fight was a layup. That they wanted a nice scrap at UFC.
That was a pretty tough fight for him.
It was a pretty tough fight for him too. So, but it was supposed to be a layup. It was supposed to be a layup for Bobby Green, and Jim Miller made him work. Paddy Pimblett got him. Mauricio Rufy got him. I think Lance Gibson's going to be next to get Bobby Green. Also, I know it's early. It's Thursday. A lot of things change as it gets closer to fight night and closer to the fights themselves. Right now, Lance Gibson, these are DraftKings betting splits. So it's not every book. It's DraftKings, but DraftKings does get a lot of money on them. Lance Gibson is plus 180 with 44% of the bets. He has 86% of the money on him.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone is fading Bobby Green.
Public is going Lance Gibson, and we are too.
Yep, I'm all over Lance Gibson. And like you said, Shrikar, he trains with some of the best fighters in the world. So I think that if that's not selling you, then I literally have no idea.
MMA is a good gym. So
yep. So I don't really know what to tell you. But he's fought some of the best fighters in the world. That's what I meant to say. He's fought some of the best fighters in the world. So yeah. But our next fight, or a clean sweep for Lance Gibson, we'll see how that one turns out. If Bobby Green lives up to the washed word, the W word. Next fight, this should be pretty fun. I'm expecting this to be a nice little scrap. We got Kennedy Nzechukwu. I got it this time.
Yeah, there you go.
I always tell you I can't pronounce his name, and then you do it for me. The African Savage taking on Marcus Buchecha. Marcus Buchecha kind of let the war room down last time.
He did.
He lost to Martin Buday, and maybe he's cursed because Martin Buday got cut right after that fight. Which
and Buchecha's still in the UFC for losing to
Buday. And he's still in the UFC. What is that about? Uncle Dana, make this right. Yeah, but he was a lot higher of a I feel like he was a little more highly touted than he performed. We thought this guy was going to be an amazing submission threat, not amazing on the feet, but could hold his own. And he got absolutely pieced up by Martin Buday. And Buday is not bad, which I still don't. He had one loss in the UFC, which I still don't understand why he was cut.
Too boring.
Yeah, he was a decision merchant in a weight class where you want to see people getting their face put on the canvas. Nzechukwu, he just recently got heel hooked by Walter Walker. He was one of the victims of the heel hook master. I think this is a good bounce back spot for Nzechukwu. After what I saw from Buchecha against Buday, he's not very active. He's a little timid on the feet. He got outpointed in a fight where I really felt like he could have done a lot more damage than he did, especially in a situation where you're the better grappler, and he didn't even really shoot. And even when he did, he wasn't able to get a dominant position and hold Buday there. I don't think this is going to hit the ground. I think there's going to be a body hitting the ground, and it's going to be Marcus Buchecha. I'm going to go Kennedy Nzechukwu by first round knockout. I think this is going to end quick and violently.
Yeah, this is a really interesting matchup. I'm also siding with Kennedy Nzechukwu. We all know Buchecha's credentials, one of the best BJJ heavyweights of all time, world-class grappler, super dangerous if he gets you down, which is probably why Dana kept him, because of his credentials in the past. But this is MMA, not a pure grappling tournament. I feel like I bring this up every time we talk about, one of these legit grapplers. Nzechukwu, long, tall, fast for heavyweight, southpaw with good straight punches and leg kicks, solid takedown defense historically, much more experienced in MMA overall. When Buchecha was in 1FC, the drug testing situation was let's call it different, okay? In the UFC, he's not going to have those same advantages.
AKA, they don't care what you're on in 1FC.
And his takedowns aren't exactly lightning fast, even on his best day. If he gets Kennedy down, of course, he's live for a sub. The danger is obvious, but getting it there is the whole question. Nzechukwu is tough to take down cleanly, very long and rangy, capable of fighting smart and keeping it standing. He has his own grappling chops. He's not clueless on the mat, I don't love that Kennedy was heel hooked last time by Walter Walker, but that was a wild, opportunistic, super slick entry from a guy who's a legit new school threat. I don't think Buchecha is hitting that exact same thing.
No one, I don't think anyone can really do it like Walter Walker does it. That man is different.
Exactly. Odds, Nzechukwu around -150, Buchecha around +110. Under 1.5 is around plus money. I think that's really good. Buchecha by sub is obviously the prop if you're betting his side, but I think Kennedy keeps this standing more often than not, uses his speed and straight shots, and either knocks Buchecha out or wins a clear decision. So I'm going to go Kennedy Nzechukwu with Buchecha's sub as the only realistic danger. Tapology, 74% going to Nzechukwu, 89% of those guys going by knockout. And if you're betting Buchecha, obviously 83% of the Buchecha side is going by submission. So it makes sense what we're analyzing here. But I do think Kennedy Nzechukwu will get it done.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Wow,
him by KO is also +140. Buchecha by sub is +200. So, but this fight,
yeah, pick him. This is a pick him.
This is going to be wild. By the way, we are on the main card now. The Bobby Green fight kicks off the main card.
And if we didn't mention it earlier, I think we might have. Sam is taking Kennedy by KO.
Yeah. I don't think we mentioned it. Yeah. Sam is taking Kennedy by KO. The last two fights, Bobby Green versus Lance Gibson and Kennedy versus Marcus Buchecha, are the first two fights on the main card. It is a 6-fight main card, I believe. Yes, it is a 6-fight main card. Also, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new here, follow all the socials down below. We really appreciate it. You guys can stay up to date with us. Turn on post noties so you know when we're going to go streaming, when we post a video. We try and put out some content. Also, if you're watching this video and didn't check out the video we just posted, we ranked the past UFC lightweight, the best UFC lightweight prospects. So let us know if you guys like that. We'll try and do more content in this little hiatus that the UFC is going to go on while they transition to Paramount. But this fight, man, this is going to have us thinking about it for hopefully probably the next 6 weeks, in my opinion. You got Morgan, the last pirate, Charrier, taking on Melchizael, what is that? The
Dalmatian.
Dalmatian. All right, I thought I was seeing that right. The Dalmatian Costa. Melky Costa is insane, man. He is really something. And what Charrier did to Nate Landwehr, oh my gosh, this is set up to be fireworks. Shrikar, who you got winning this fight, man? It's a pick 'em.
Yeah, this is a banger. This is such a banger. This is my pick to be fight of the night, personally.
I agree.
I'm on Melk Costa. I'm a big Melk guy. I love his style. Bouncy, tactical movement from the outside. Great kicks. Teeps, body kicks, leg kicks. Southpaw with fast, straight shots. Well-rounded with, low-key good grappling. Charrier is the opposite type. Athletic, aggressive, big power. Loves wide looping bombs. As you mentioned, Chris, looked great knocking out Nate Landwehr last time, but Landwehr is aging and super hittable. Costa, meanwhile, is in his prime. and on a 4-fight win streak in 2025 and has been active and sharp. Wins over guys like Andre Fili, C-Rod, Julian Erosa. He's putting together a real resume.
Yeah, all good fighters.
I think Costa controls range better, lands first with straighter shots, mixes in kicks and potentially grappling, can take the back and win scrambles if it hits the mat. Charrier is dangerous, especially in the third round if Costa slows. I could see Morgan landing some big shots late as Costa fades a bit, but over the full 3 rounds, I favor Melk's technical striking and variety. Odds are even, around -110 each side. On Tapology, it lists Melk as -120. Over 2.5 is looking like a pretty juiced prop as well. I don't know what it is on DraftKings, if you can fill me in on the over.
It is -215.
Yeah, it feels like a very fair line, but I lean Costa to do just a bit more over the 3 rounds. Picking him to stay perfect this year. Going Melk Costa by decision. If you look at Tapology, if you're picking Costa, it's going to be by decision. If you're picking Charrier, it's also by decision. So Tapology thinks it's going the distance. Tapology is on Costa, and I couldn't agree more. Give me the Dalmatian.
Yeah, I'm all over Melky Costa here. I think he's going to win by decision, and I agree with you. I really think this could be fight of the night. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fireworks. You have 2 guys who are willing to stand there and strike, and both are great strikers. I think the one thing that Melquizael Costa has going for him better than Charrier is he is a little more well-versed on the ground. We've seen him pull off submissions. I think he's comfortable wherever it goes. And Charrier isn't a bad grappler at all. He's more of a wrestler, though, than a grappler and a BJJ guy. And I think that I've seen him, defensively grapple. I think he's a better defensive wrestler than he is an offensive wrestler. He kind of just wants to go in there and throw hands. And I don't blame him because the guy has tremendous power and he's a good boxer. The thing is, Melky Costa, what we've seen for him, dude, he's so versatile. He can just throw anything. He has great kicks, good punches. He's powerful too. And the 4 guys he's beat this year are good. Those are good fighters. Andre Fili, he's a solid vet. C-Rod, great fighter as well. Well, occasionally he's a great fighter. He has the makings to be a good fighter. Julian Erosa. And then in his last fight, who did he beat in his last fight? I'm tripping out.
Who beat?
Melky. No, he beat
Rosa.
Shyalon. He beat Shyalon Nurdembiki. That was his first fight of or actually no, that was last year, excuse me. He's 3-0 this year. So I think he could definitely go 4-0. I'm excited. I was always high on Melky Costa. And I think he's finally really putting it together, and he's going to be a problem, man. And his 2 loss in the UFC, Thiago Moises, and that's kind of when Thiago was still relevant, bouncing around. He hasn't had the best track record recently, but he also lost to Steve Garcia. So it went to the second round with Steve Garcia. We've seen what Steve Garcia has done. That man is a beast. So yeah, I think he's gonna keep this freight train rolling. I'm gonna say Melky Costa by finish. I'm gonna say by sub. I think he gets this done. But I wouldn't be surprised about decision. Obviously, it's kind of chalked, so maybe I'm just looking for a little bit of value. But
I mean, the value's already there on just taking Costa straight up.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes I get a damn taking Charrier.
Wow,
Charrier by KO.
Charrier by knockout.
Wow. Okay. I like it, Sam. I think it's going to be a firefight. So I really don't see a bad decision. Never mind. Sam apologized. It's okay, Sam.
Yeah, I was about to say, but hey,
just the pick of Charrier is enough. But yeah, I mean, look, I think it's going to be a firefight. It's pick 'em for a reason. That's all I'm saying. And a lot of money and bets are on Melky Costa right now. So it'll be interesting to see which way this line goes, which way it tips. But the fact that there's a lot of money on it and the line is still even,
yeah,
is interesting. So good news for Melky or bad news for Melky. We'll see come Saturday night in the Apex. But our next fight should be a good one. Got some 2 really good strikers. We got Cesar Cezinha Almeida is taking inspiration from Amandinha.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord.
Fighting Cesare Olechechuk. Cesare with a great win on Contender Series, joining his brother Michal Olechechuk in the UFC. Cesare only needed 36 seconds to get Theo Haig out of there in Contender Series in September, the beginning of September. I think he's legit, man. I think he's going to beat Cesar Almeida, and I think he's going to do it by knockout. I like Cesar Almeida, and I've never really picked against him in the UFC. And I mean, I guess it's good because he's only lost one time, and that was to Roman Kopylov, and that was a split decision. His last time out in January against Abdul Razak Al Hassan, he was getting lit up. He was getting tagged, and he pulled it out of the fire and was able to stay composed and just land a really crisp hook to flatline Al Hassan. So yes, it's a win, and it's an impressive win, but everything leading up to the knockout was not impressing me. I feel like in that fight, Cesar Almeida should have been calculatedly dominating Abdul Razak Al Hassan. And not saying anything bad about Al Hassan. He's a very big power puncher, but he's not very calculated sometimes. And from Cesar Almeida's background, a very good kickboxer and someone who has power, but he's also very technical and calculated. I was expecting a lot more from him in that scenario. He's kind of susceptible to getting punched, and especially with someone who knows what they're doing. Like, look at what Roman Kopylov did to him. He didn't fight a crazy fight in terms of just swinging wildly. Roman Kopylov's a technical striker. He picks his moments, and he's powerful, sharp, precise, and he was really getting to Almeida, even though it was a split decision. Roman Kopylov won that fight, in my opinion. I think we're going to see the same from Cesare Olechechuk. This guy is precise to a pin, and he's powerful, man. He really has it all. And he has a good grappling game as well. I think how I'm laying it out is the floor is Cesare Olechechuk. I feel like this is his fight to lose, in my opinion. And this is going to be a nice statement debut win for the Olechechuk family. And yeah, I mean, he's a fighting nerd too, right? Cesare? Okay. So let's get the fighting nerds back on track, man. They need it. I feel like it's been all
they've already gotten back on track. I mean, you look at what Prates is doing, what Myron Santos is doing.
Yeah, but Karine Silva lost. Who else lost? John Silva lost.
Silva and Kayo and Hoofy.
And Kayo. They need to avenge the losses.
I mean, I think they're doing enough.
I guess. Yeah, you're right. I'm being greedy.
We'll see how
right
the individuals rehab themselves more so than the gym. The gym is still doing fine.
Yeah.
I think you hit it on the head with the analysis. I'm picking Cesare Olechechuk by knockout. He's basically the super Olechechuk, the upgraded version of his brother. Long, tall, slick southpaw boxer, fast hands, great timing. Sharp, straight shots, real knockout power, as we mentioned, trains with the fighting nerds, well-rounded. Almeida is a dangerous striker, too. High-level kickboxing background, great body and head kicks, good power. Hurt Abdul Razak Al Hassan badly, solid takedown defense. You mentioned it, Chris. He's also been dropped multiple times in the UFC by Kopylov, by Al Hassan. He's 37 now, and those shots are adding up. Cesare is only 25, and his striking looks polished beyond his years. I think he can beat Almeida to the punch with speed, pressure him, draw out those wild exchanges, potentially mix in wrestling if he wants, but I think he'll enjoy striking here. Odds, Olechechuk around -150, Almeida around +110. Cesare opened as a big underdog and flipped to a solid favorite, which tells you what people are seeing in him. I think he's one of the best prospects from this Contender Series class, and this is a real showcase opportunity. Could he mix in takedowns? Sure, but I think he's going to want to prove a point on the feet and be the first guy to knock Almeida out in MMA. I think he'll do it. Give me Olechechuk by knockout. Does Topology think so as well? Yes, they do.
Wow.
72% on Cesare and 79% of that by knockout.
He's -205 now. So the line is getting longer and longer, or shorter and shorter.
Sam says Polish guy by KO. I'm too lazy to spell his name.
It's okay. That's a hard one to spell. I always have trouble. I think this is going to be fireworks. So 2 very competent strikers. So I'm excited. I think this is a good fight and a good lead up to the main event. And especially the last 3 fights are going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Because this is our co-main.
Yeah, this is our co-main. We have the Ninja, Giga Chikadze, back in action. Fought earlier this year, taking on El Chino Kevin Vallejos, who we know, you guys know how much we love Kevin Vallejos in the War Room. This guy is different. Shrikar, take it away. What you think Kevin Vallejos is going to do in this fight?
Yeah, I'm going with Kevin Vallejos. That's going to be my pick. At this point, it feels like the final run for Giga. He's 37. Still a high-level kickboxer. Still dangerous with that Giga kick to the body. But you can see the slippage. Slower reactions, more hittable, struggling more with pressure and pace. Vallejos is the opposite curve. 24 years old, right? 24? Yes, 24 years old. Pressure first, heavy boxing and kickboxing. Tight stance, big power combos, good at closing distance and winning the real estate battle. Could absolutely mix in wrestling if he wants to. I think Kevin walks Giga down and controls the pace and location of the fight. Giga can still crack, and those body kicks will always be nasty. But defending pressure and reacting for 15 minutes at 37 against a prime, hungry prospect is a big ask at this stage. I wouldn't be surprised if Vallejos shoots a few takedowns too, just to keep Giga guessing and bank control time. Odds, Vallejos around -250, Giga around +175. If Kevin knocks Giga out, that's huge. Giga's never been knocked out in MMA. Only subbed once way back on Contender Series and otherwise lost by decision. Like he lost to David Onama by decision, lost to Arnold Allen by decision, lost to Cater by decision. I'll lean Vallejos by decision, with Giga maybe getting stunned a few times, but hanging in there. Bigger volume and youth win the day. Vallejos by decision is the pick. Topology agrees.
Wow.
Going Kevin.
Yeah, I agree. Sam just said Vallejos by knockout.
Wow.
I think he can do it. I'm gonna side with Shrikar though, saying that Giga gets stunned a few times, maybe even dropped and rallies to salvage a decision. If this was a 5-round fight, which I don't think this would ever be a main event unless Vallejos had a little bit of a bigger name.
Unless we get a Blanchfield Barber situation.
Yeah, unless
it's not gonna be 5 rounds.
Yeah, unless something happens to Royval or Manel Kape, which please God no.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but Vallejos, he's legit. I think he's well versed everywhere. I'm excited to see. I think this is a good veteran test for him, and this is the push that the UFC wants for him. And just look how wide the line is. He's -250, and I think that's perfect because, like you said, Shrikar, this is where Giga Chikadze starts to kind of slip away and lose what we saw in Giga in the beginning of his career and what made him so special. And yeah, he still has the Giga kick, and it was it's special when it lands because that is thunderous, bro. That's like one of the best kicks in MMA, and it's a perfect liver shot. But yeah, he's getting older. Vallejos has youth on his side, athleticism, power as well. I think that this is Kevin Vallejos' fight to lose, and it says he's -250 on Tapology. Just like the last fight, the line is getting shorter and shorter for Vallejos. He's -305 right now, and I can honestly see him inching up towards -400 come fight night. If I'm being completely honest, I'm very confident in him. I think that he has everything at his disposal right now, and I think the only direction for him to go is up. And to him, for him to win by decision is +130. Him by knockout is +185. So
okay,
that's what you're thinking. Then just for the fight to go to decision in general, -135. Over under is 2.5 rounds. Over is -154. So not too much chalk on the over there. Maybe we could expect a knockout. But yeah, I think the youth is going to be a big factor in this fight. And then we move to the main event. Brandon Royval taking on Manel Kape. Raw Dog versus Starboy. This is going to be a great fight. I'm excited. Yeah. I really like that it's a 5-rounder too. And for this to end off the ESPN era as a whole and just the UFC calendar year in general, hats off to you guys. Yeah, very well done. I think the last 3 fights of the year are stacked, and I think that's why they made it striker versus striker. They do not want to see any wrestling for these last 3 fights. But yeah, so on one side you have Manel Kape, who has had a little bit of a storied history in the UFC. He's kind of still being remembered for a few choice words that he's said in the octagon, as well as his. Say it again.
Yeah, you're right about choice words.
Yeah, choice words that will not be said on this podcast. But yeah, he just beat Bruno Silva. He also lost to Muhammad Mokaev. A lot of people remember Muhammad Mokaev's beef with him that ultimately led Mokaev being cut from the UFC. He knocked out Bruno Silva, and then he pretty much dominated Asu Almabayev in a main event earlier this year in March. That was an interesting performance. He was a big underdog in that. Not big underdog. He was a solid underdog. Asu had all the hype in the world, and Manel Kape really just showed him that there's levels to it, and he looked phenomenal in the striking game. Almost honestly, unlike something that I have seen from him. I knew he was a good striker, but that was different. He really pieced up Manel Kape. And then on the other hand, you have Brandon Royval coming off fight of the year. I think we could still call that fight of the year. I think that's undoubtedly fight of the year.
Yes.
Against Josh Van, both landing 200 plus significant strikes each. He beat Tatsuro Taira by split decision before that, beat Brandon Moreno by split decision. In my opinion, put up a very good performance against former champion. Wow, it's going to be crazy to say that.
Yeah.
Former champion, Alexandre Pantoja. Even though I believe he lost 4-1 on 2 judges' scorecards. Besides the point, I was impressed with what he was doing. This guy is relentless. He has a lot of heart. He also has hands. He has wrestling. In this fight, I'm going to take Brandon Royval to pull out the upset.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like Manel Kape is going to have the advantage in the striking game, but I think Brandon Royval is going to have the advantage in the dog game of who has the bigger dog inside them. We've seen Royval get pieced up. Don't get me wrong. Pantoja did it to him. Josh Van did it to him, but he did not quit at all. If anything, he just kept going and going and going, throwing back his own punches that are very damaging as well. I like Manel Kape, and he could definitely end this by knockout. Don't get me wrong. I just think Royval is going to bounce back from that Van loss. I think he's also pissed that he lost to Josh Van. I would be pissed too. The number 11 contender in the world beats the number 1, jumps you, and now he gets a title shot. Even though Royval probably wasn't going to get a title shot if he beat Josh Van. Personally, I think he's going to be out for vengeance. I think he wants to cement himself as a top flyweight in the flyweight in the world. And I don't think there's anyone better to do it than against Manel Kape, someone who's very fluid and powerful in striking. Also, Royval is a good grappler. A lot of people forget that. He's a good wrestler and has good grappling as well. I have not really seen that from Manel Kape, to be completely honest. So that's a path to victory. I feel like there's more paths to victory for Brandon Royval. He can also go 5 rounds. We've seen it multiple times. Kape, on the other hand, haven't seen 5-round distance from him. Not that it's a bad thing. He's either finished the fight or it was a 3-rounder. So, yeah. Sam is going Royval by decision as well. So, Shrikar, will you take the lone wolf in Manel Kape, or will you ride with the boys?
First off,
yeah, give your spiel.
I'm gonna scratch what I said about Shari and Costa being fight of the night. I think this is gonna be fight of the night, to be honest. Excellent main event. Brandon Raw Dog Royval, Manel Kape. Finally, after multiple cancellations, Sam in our chat said Royval, because Kape pulls out, this fight is cursed. Hopefully it's not. But I'm picking
Sam,
Manel.
Why are you putting that in existence? You're taking Kape?
I'm taking Kape. I'll take the lone wolf here. I
Do it.
love Brandon Royval. I picked him to beat Tatsuro Taira. He was a big underdog, rode with him there. He's all action, right? Creative striker, heavy leg kicks, flying knees, elbows, flurries in the pocket, chaos merchant, right? Dangerous jiu-jitsu, long limbs, great back taking. But that chaos is a double-edged sword in this matchup. Kape is one of the few flyweights who can match high-level output, have elite speed, and also be extremely precise and defensively sharp. His movement is special, great footwork, almost gliding in and out, slick head movement, good parrying and defensive reads, fast counters down the middle. Look, let's look at the height. Royval is 5'9", Kape is 5'5". Royval is 4 inches taller, but they have the same reach. And Royval often comes into the pocket a bit stiff and upright with his head on the center line. Against someone with Kape's speed and timing, that's a problem. I think Kape is going to land a lot of clean headshots, be the more efficient, precise striker, win the majority of the significant strike exchanges. Royval will absolutely have his moments. He's too dangerous not to. But Kape's shots carry more thud, more damage, more eye-catching impact for the judges. For Royval to win, he probably needs to scramble into back takes, body triangle and control, or some wild, chaotic moment where he snatches a neck or catches Kape off guard in transition. But Kape has shown very solid takedown defense and composure against strong grapplers, even against someone like Mokaev, who had to cheat with the shorts grab. Kape was right there in that fight and very tough to control. Over 5 rounds, I see Kape keeping it mostly on the feet, landing the cleaner, harder shots, busting Royval up a bit, maybe dropping him once or twice. I lean Kape by unanimous decision. If he gets a knockout, that's huge and probably locks him into title shot. Yeah, he will get the title shot if he knocks out Royval immediately. He will jump the line. But even a dominant decision here over Royval would be massive, right? So we look at the odds, Kape around -250, Royval around +175. What is the over 3.5?
Over 3.5 is -130.
I agree with the odds. I see Kape's precision and takedown defense carrying him to the biggest win of his career. Manel Kape by decision with knockdowns and big moments. Tapology leaning Royval. And they're thinking Royval by decision. It is pretty split, though. And if people are split on Kape by knockout or decision as well, I'll go Kape by decision. I think Royval will go 5. But, hey, knockout could be pretty live here. And if he does it, he is next up for Joshua Van or Pantoja or whoever, Taira maybe, if they figure that out. Kape will be next.
Kape by knockout is +130, and him by decision is +215.
Okay.
So,
I like the odds on Kape by decision then.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good value. And then we're looking at Royval. Royval by knockout is +1,200.
No,
him by submission is +800 by sub. By decision is +500.
If you really, really think Royval's getting it done, then maybe it wouldn't hurt to sprinkle on the sub line. I would say that because if he could catch Kape in a choke. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible.
Definitely. Yeah, if you want to be safe, him to win by KO or submission for Royval is +500. Nice little double chance. Submission or decision is +275. At that point, you might as well just take his money line. He's +230 anyway. Man, just cover all bases.
How many lone wolves do I have on this card? Okay, I have Corden. I have Well, Sam has Brito.
I'm taking Thomson because he knocked out Le'Veon Douglas. Purely that.
Sam has
Lemos. I think
Chris, you have Robertson, lone wolf.
Yeah.
And then
I think you only have 2. Sam has Charrier, lone wolf.
Charrier, yup. Yeah.
Pretty much the war room is in. There's a consensus agreement on most of these fights.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I really think this is going to be a solid card. This is one that I'd actually sit down and watch. I'm kind of happy that it's not happening in the afternoon. It's happening. Prelim start at 7. Main card starts at 10 Eastern time. I will be preoccupied at 3:30. Army Navy is on. Biggest game of the year for my family, as you could see right there. We got the West Point flags up. Go Black Knights. Wasn't our year this year, but everything goes out the window in the Army Navy game. Forget records, forget everything. Sometimes that's how it is in MMA too. That's why I love MMA. It really doesn't matter who you lost to, who you beat. The person you're fighting beat the person you lost to. It's kind of about right there and then in the moment. But yeah, I think it's going to be a solid card. Shrikar, what are your final thoughts on this fight night and the main event or whatever?
Yeah, currently I'm moving, so I'm trying to settle into a new job and everything. I'm settling into a new apartment. This isn't the apartment. This is a hotel room. Indicating yes, that I'm moving. So hopefully I can catch the card on Saturday. I'm going to be pretty busy, but if I have the time, if I'm in front of a screen, we are watching it. All right. Or it's just, it depends how busy I am. So hopefully I get to watch this one again. We mentioned in the beginning, but Royval and Kape is a fantastic main event. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you watch it. It's going to be awesome. The entire card is going to be great. I can't wait for Cesari's debut in the UFC. I can't wait for, the co-main. Kevin Vallejos could have his spot, his time to shine. Yaroslav Amosov could have his time to shine. This will be a really fun card. I'm very excited. So hopefully I can get to watch this one, and it'll be free on ESPN. Main card will be free on ESPN. So it'll be a little bit easier to watch if you don't have the subscription. But yeah, overall, fantastic card to close things off for the UFC on ESPN, and should be exciting.
Yes, sir. I definitely agree. I will be trying to watch every fight I can on the prelims. I'm going to be ping-ponging back and forth between that and I don't watch it anymore, but I got to see my guy John Cena retire. That's going to be a sad one for
definitely got to watch that.
Yep. Yeah, all the guys in the world. If you don't watch WWE anymore, I know a lot of people are probably going to watch that just to see it happen. But
yeah, I grew up on it, so I have to watch it.
I gotta. I like to say that I stopped watching WWE because I graduated to UFC. That's what I always tell myself, but it's funny. It's always fun to watch occasionally and just see the soap opera play out in real life. But yeah, so I'm excited for this. Shrikar is as well. I don't want to speak for Sam, but I think he's excited for the main event. I know he is. But yeah, that'll do it. Like I said, check out our recent video ranking the best UFC lightweight prospects. Let us know if you guys like those type of videos. We need to figure out some content to give you guys in this 6-week hiatus. So yeah, throw out any ideas, comment down below, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post noties so you know when we're posting videos and potentially streaming. We'll get some streams out there for you guys. Next year, maybe even start Fight Companion. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, let us know what content you guys want, and we will provide it. We will do our best.
Hey, give us some likes. Keep subbing up.
Yeah,
sharing the channel. Keep sharing our videos. We will do Fight Companions for you guys if the demand is there. All right, so go ahead and give us the engagement, and we'll give you what you want.
Yes, sir. Show it to your friends. Show it to your friends' friends. Show it to your mom, your sister, your brother, your grandma, everyone, your uncles, your aunts. Put it on at Christmas. Get the War Room some love. Get us out there. We love our viewers and everyone who supports us. We're doing this because we like to do it, and we like to give content to you guys. So, yeah, that'll do it. Hope you guys have a great Saturday night watching this card. For Shrikar Rajendran and Sam Corcoran through the chat, I'm Chris Schroyer saying so long, and see you guys soon.